Friend, there comes a moment when waiting no longer feels heavy because the whisper of revelation finally breaks through. Heaven may have seemed still, but it was never absent. The silence wasn't empty, it was full, pregnant with answers. Strategies and truths too precious to deliver before the time was right. And now, that time has come. I sense it deep within my spirit. The Father is leaning close, unfolding pages that have been sealed until now. The questions you've carried in prayer, the mysteries hidden in your heart, they are about to be revealed. You've walked faithfully through seasons where the light felt far away and the path was unclear. Yet in those very shadows, God was shaping you, refining your discernment so you could carry the weight of what He's about to release. Daniel once declared, He reveals deep and hidden things. Daniel 2:22, and tonight He chooses to share those things not with the crowd, but with you, the one who refused to let go. The silent years were not wasted years. What felt like heaven's stillness was actually a divine alignment, preparing you to receive truths you could not have handled before. Some revelations require maturity. Some instructions can only come when your roots have gone deep. God's delays are never His denials, they are pauses of preparation, moments where He tunes your ears to hear clearly and strengthens your heart to obey with confidence. As the prophet Amos wrote, "The sovereign Lord does nothing without revealing His plan to His servants." Amos 3-7. And tonight, you are in that servant seat. This isn't an ordinary moment. Heaven's agenda has shifted toward you. What you're about to hear isn't a recycled echo of old words. It's the living voice of the one who calls. You friend, Jesus said to His disciples, "I no longer call you servants, because a servant does not know his master's business. Instead, I have called you friends." John 15:15. That same intimacy is being extended to you now. This is a sacred inner circle moment where God pulls back the veil and lets you in on plans written in His book before you were even born. Understand this. God isn't just giving you information. He's giving you keys. What He reveals will unlock not only answers but entire seasons of favor, protection, and divine positioning. These truths are not abstract ideas. They are living instructions that will transform how you pray, how you move, and what you expect Him to do in your life. There is a holy weight to this hour. Heaven's secrets are not shouted through chaos. They come in the stillness, received only by those listening with their spirit. That's why you felt the pull to step away from distractions. That's why certain voices in your life have grown silent. God has been clearing the room so nothing drowns out what He's about to say. You've been trusted with mysteries that others won't hear, not because you're better, but because you were willing to wait, to be still, to stay. Faithful when answers didn't come as expected. Heaven notices that kind of faith, and heaven rewards it. So lean in now. The Father is speaking not to the crowd, not to the curious, but to you, His chosen one. This is the moment your spirit has been sensing. By the end of this night, you won't just hear God's voice, you'll know His heart like never before. And from this point forward, your steps will carry the imprint of heaven's secrets. Why the silence was necessary, beloved. You thought the quiet meant abandonment. You assumed unanswered prayers meant God had turned away. But silence in heavens language is never neglect, it's preparation. That pause you hated was actually holy ground where God was building the structure within you to hold what He's about to place in your hands. There is a divine rhythm before the unveiling comes, waiting before the shout, a whisper before the declaration, a still page before the next chapter begins. Psalm 37:7 says, "Be still before the Lord and wait patiently for Him." That stillness isn't weakness, it's strength. It sharpens your hearing, purifies your motives, and fixes your gaze on the one whose voice rises when all other noise fades away. In the quiet, God was stripping away the excess. Without realizing it, you were surrounded by voices, some loud, some subtle, that shaped your decisions more than His Spirit did. He used silence to break your dependence on people, on constant confirmation, because idols cannot stand where revelation is about to be released. Isaiah 30:15 says, "In quietness and trust is your strength." In that sacred stillness, He replaced your hunger for quick answers with a deeper hunger for His presence. Think of Joseph, left forgotten in the dim prison of Egypt. That silence wasn't punishment. It was the forge that produced the humility and wisdom he needed to govern a nation. Think of David, anointed but not yet crowned, tending sheep and hiding in caves. Those silent years trained his hands for war and his heart for worship. Even Jesus stepped into 40 days of wilderness silence before his public ministry began. If heaven didn't rush the process, why should it rush yours? The delay was never denial, it was a divine investment. Lamentations 3:26 says, "It is good to wait quietly for the salvation of the Lord." Every day you sat in stillness, your roots dug deeper. Your discernment grew sharper. And now everything is about to change. Everything you endured, the waiting, the loneliness, the silence, was shaping you for this hour. What felt like delay was actually acceleration in disguise. God was not holding you back. He was setting you apart. Because what He is about to release through you could not survive in shallow soil. You were asking for answers. God was giving you roots. You were praying for open doors. God was preparing you to walk through them without fear. The time has come where what was hidden will now be revealed. You see, revelation is not just information, it's transformation. It changes how you live, how you speak, how you see yourself and your God. The instructions He whispers in this season will require bold obedience, because they are not for the timid. They are keys that unlock destiny. So, what do you do now? You stay in that posture of stillness, not because God is silent anymore, but because that is where you hear Him most clearly. You guard what He gives you. Not everyone will understand what He tells you, and that's okay. This is an inner circle moment, not a public announcement. Heaven is marking you tonight. From this point forward, you won't move like everyone else. You'll carry strategies that others can't see, wisdom they can't comprehend, and authority that only comes from time spent in God's presence. This is not the end of your waiting. It's the beginning of your revealing. The season of silence has fulfilled its purpose, and the voice of the Father is now your compass. Walk in it with courage. The page is turning, and your next chapter is about to unfold. Psalm 37:7 told you to wait patiently, and you did. Isaiah 30:15 promised strength and quietness, and you found it. Now Amos 3:7 becomes your reality. God reveals His plans to His servants, and that servant is you. So lean in, listen closely, and step boldly. Because what God is speaking in this moment will not just change your life, it will ripple into the lives of many who are connected to your obedience. You are not forgotten. You are favored. And the silence that once felt unbearable will soon be the proof that you were trusted with heaven's most sacred secrets. The silence was never punishment, it was preparation. And now, heaven is speaking. The page has turned, and your story is shifting. You are stepping into the season you've been waiting for. Do not ignore this moment. Lean in, listen, obey, because what God whispers now will shape your destiny forever. If this word confirmed what you've been feeling in your spirit, don't scroll away, pause and declare in the comments, "I'm ready for the reveal." Let's fill this space with faith. And if you know someone who feels forgotten in the silence, share this message with them. They need to hear this. Subscribe for more messages like this, because your journey with God is just getting started.